Rihm with Neo Brake with us. So Joe, if you want to maybe just take a second to introduce yourself and let us know what your role with Neo is, would be great.
I appreciate that, Troy. As Troy said, I'm Joe Rihm. I'm with Neo Brake. I'm based out of Wisconsin. I live in the Chicagoland area. I control Midwest sales for all of, most of the Midwest, about 8 states of the Midwest, including Minnesota. So that's my role as far as a go-to person. So I'll flash my contact information to whoever wants it in a little bit once Troy gives me back and I'll put my PowerPoint up there. So you guys can take that down and make sure that you contact me with any questions or any thoughts that you have, of course.
So we recently have switched our brake supplier over to Neo Brake as our new preferred supplier at all 8 of our locations. So you're soon going to see that product rolling out. You'll also soon see Joe out traveling with our staff to answer any questions that anybody may have, and feel free to ask any questions you've got. Down at the bottom there's a chat area, so please feel free to reach out and ask any questions you might have. We'll leave about 5 minutes or a little more at the end for any questions that come up. So like I said, snowing here. I was talking to Joe earlier. It sounds like where he's at the home of Neo, not snowing over there. I learned that they're not Packer fans. So since a lot of Viking fans are probably on here, that's probably good to know. But unfortunately, there's some loyalty to the Bears. So hopefully you'll still accept Joe. I think he's a fair and reasonable person. So Joe, minus snow, but COVID has been obviously a hot topic for a few months, if you've heard about it. How's things been at the manufacturing facility for you guys in Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's been challenging, obviously, to make sure everybody's safe and healthy. But we've done a good job with that. Nobody's had any problems with it. As far as our supply, we've been on point with that as well. A lot of our I guess other vendors that I hear about have had a lot of supply problems, and we haven't encountered anything like that. Manufacturing's going good. Everybody's staying healthy, so we've been on top of it.
Good.
And it's been successful.
Good. Well, I know we're certainly excited about the new partnership with you, and look forward to having quick access to your product and things of that nature. So I think at this point, though, if you want to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of your presentation and remove my born for radio face from people's field of view and learn about brake shoes. So with that, take her away, Joe.
Troy, I appreciate it. That's funny. So yeah, as Troy said, that we're not Green Bay Packers fans, so that's good for the most part. I won't say what we are. Some of us are Cowboys fans. Some of us are Bears fans. I'm a Bears fan because I'm from Chicago, but don't hold that against me. It's not like you guys have anything to worry about anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as soon as I clear off a couple things here and kind of talk a little bit about what Neo Brake is and where we are and what we have to offer. Troy, can you see my screen?
I can see it.
Okay, just making sure I got up there.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. So again, my name's Joe, last name's Rihm, Midwest representative for Neo Brake. So there's my contact information, first and foremost, for everybody that wants to take that down. You can text, you can call, email, whatever needs to be done. If you got major questions, I prefer you call. That way we can talk them out and kind of discuss them at length. But I also accept texts as well. No big deal there. Some people always ask that. So Neo Brake Systems Incorporated, based out of Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Been doing heavy-duty truck and trailer brakes since 1988. Original owner, still doing it. He opened it up in October of 1988, to be exact. So it's right about our 32nd anniversary. We provide big dealership groups such as Rihm throughout the United States, into Canada, and even somewhat overseas into some of the islands as well. We have a fair amount of distribution in the Midwest, extended. So we have our main manufacturing plant would be in Oak Creek with a distribution warehouse there. One in Omaha, Nebraska, Jackson, Mississippi, and Louisville, Kentucky as well. So what our trucks do is we actually manufacture everything in Wisconsin and distribute to our warehouses where they distribute on a weekly basis to our customers. And also pick up all cores and everything that are intended that need to be picked up as well. So that's a major service that we provide that don't see any other brake manufacturers doing currently. So along with a couple of things that I want to point out on our manufacturing standpoint is the way we handle the remanufacturing process. Everything is going to be obviously delined. We bead blast everything, all the metal down to bare metal. We coin every shoe and then paint it with a rust proof or a weatherproof coating as well. Some other manufacturers like Meritor like to use fancy names. Ours is just a rust proofing type paint, and it's just as good as everyone else's. I wish I would have came up with a couple of good terms, but it's we don't have any problems with any kind of any of the paint or anything that we use. So we do have several things, several linings available to start. The majority is going to be in your standard and premium 20s and 23Ks, but we go way beyond that. So we have 12 different linings to offer. When it comes to severe duty or long lasting or just unusual circumstances, we have pretty much anything available for those. Heavy hauling, and that goes with new shoe, reman shoe, and a slew of FMSIs that I couldn't even tell you how to start on a list on how many we have available to begin with. And if it comes to something rare, we specialize in that as well. The old wedge brakes, trying to realign those, getting those back to so that the end customer has a lower price availability rather than switching out a whole truck or trailer for that matter. So we do that quite a bit on a specialty basis. So the slide I have up right now is showing a few lines that we have available. These are going to be a majority of what Rihm is going to be selling and using. So your MVP 20, kind of an easy one right there. It's just a premium 20. So that would go along with any premium 20 on the market right now, including your 6008 ABEX. We go into the NVRM 180, which is a standard 23,000 pound. And then the FM 200 is going to be our premium 23,000. You go into our 210 master block, which is equivalent to a couple different linings directly related towards like an ABEX 685. So that's kind of the starter package right there, the lines that we have to offer, and a little bit of information about that. Then we go into the higher up, our Supreme block is, I would call it an HD. So it would be Kevlar based, 3 high heat resins, takes on a lot of heat. It's really a big seller. You go into our combo block, our 230, and that's going to be a lot for gravel trucks or the dusty roads, trucks getting a lot of stuff in the drums. What that is, it's made up of 2 different types of blocks, one organic and one semi-metallic. So it provides that stopping power for heavy hauling, and it also cleans that drum with that organic block. 240 is going to be a severe duty 25,000 pound block. A lot of Kevlar in that as well, and high heat resins as well. 250 is pretty much a full metallic block. So that's going to be what I call like a drum, a drum grinder, but it is for severe duties as well. Our flagship is going to be our 1088. You can probably notice the 1088 would be October of 1988. That's how that's got named. Just so happens that it's October, and so that's where I come up with the 1088 as kind of a funny story right now. This is our flagship right now. It's a transfer film. So there's quite a bit of uses for this. It can go over the road. It can go into severe duty. It's a 26,000 pound lining as well as a 23,000 depending on the size of the slack. I do want to talk about this a little bit because it does bring a lot of extended life, especially to drums, to brake life. We typically see it will last about 3 to 4 times longer than your average lining or block. And so it's a big seller. It's quiet and it lasts. A different animal than any kind of metallics that you have, provides a stopping power, but it's a big seller. We also have something that's very individualistic to, sorry about that, to Neo brakes. So this is what I would call a game changer. We went back to the market and created a cast core. This isn't standard with everything, but it's one that we have to offer. We have the 4707, 4709, and 4711 all in cast, all in lightweight cast at that. So it's about an ounce, within an ounce of pressed steel. This is big for heat dissipation, heavy duty hauling, long lasting. We use it on garbage trucks. We use it on over the road. It helps dissipate that heat a lot better. It gives even contact to that drum when applied correctly, of course. Our drums are, this one is a revolutionary drum. So it's our MR360. So it's a 16.5-inch drum that it has virgin ore material only in it. It's precision ground. It actually looks like the picture, if you can see that. There's no cutouts for balancing. It's meant to have the density of the steel a lot higher than your average or your normal value drum. So the density of the steel of this is going to be in the 3000s because of the virgin ore material. It allows a lot better heat dissipation throughout the entire drum itself. With that cast core and our premium lining that I talked about, we offer the double life guarantee for whatever you're using right now. So this is, as you can imagine, this is somebody that understands the price per mile, understands that they don't want to be changing brakes. They understand that there's a need for longevity. This is a big seller throughout the United States. And this is one of the major things that separates us from a lot of brake manufacturers in the United States right now. Then we have also air discs available. Ours are all OE quality. You'll probably hear that from anybody that manufactures them. These are actually OE for Europe. As you understand, as you know, disc brakes were actually manufactured and tested and everything in Europe to begin with, and that's where your Bendixes, your Meritors went and designed the United States air disc brake. So these are OE in Europe, and they're long lasting. They do a great job compared to some of the major brands out there, especially at the price. A slew of different ones of different sizes and FMSIs available. The majority of what we see right now is going to be your air disc 1369. It's equivalent to like your Bendix KO7796, 129113. That's the majority of what we see, with more to come. On top of the air disc, we are bringing in calipers and rotors in the next few weeks. Just trying to get all of that organized right now. So that will be an offering for Rihm soon from us. And that's one of those where I've just been working closely to make sure we do the right thing, get the right stuff, and we kind of move on cautiously, because it's kind of a crazy game right now when it comes to what part numbers are what, and how many different part numbers are out there and who needs what. So that's a little bit about myself, a little bit about what Neo Brake has to offer. The Neo Brake has been, like I said, doing business in, sorry, I'm going to unshare real quick. Neo Brake's been doing business throughout the United States since 1988, particularly with a lot with Kenworth dealerships like yourselves. We've got some major ones in Illinois that we do a lot of work with that we've been with over 30 years. Close relationships, take care of it, and it's based on a lot of customer service. Customer service with a lot of the big OEMs and larger providers kind of dissipates, goes away. We pride ourselves on the fact of customer service and making sure the customer gets what they need and is using what they need, as well as making sure that they're happy. That's pretty much what I have about NeoBrake right now. Troy, you got anything to add?
So, no, good to hear all the different linings that are out there. And I guess, a lot of our customers here in Minnesota have been exposed to a lot of rust jacking through the years and things like that. And I don't know, I suppose 15 years ago, kind of figured out that coining was the process or the way around that. And I know you guys do that, but I guess if you could maybe expand a little bit on the coining and your success against rust jacking with that, if you would be good information for people to know.
Yes, absolutely. As you said right there, 10, 15 years ago in the industry, rust jacking was a problem and the solution needed to be taken care of for a coating. So we went to Sherwin-Williams, one of the best paint manufacturers in the world, and we worked closely with them to come up with the right solution that worked to prevent that rusting, the rust jacking. Along with that, it is making sure that you coin those shoes so that there's so that they are true. Beating them down to bare metal and then resurfacing them or repainting them adds a lot of that, ability to prevent that rust jacking. Now, if there is major severe situations where you got, like a salt truck or something like that, is going to be more prone to having, some kind of a corrosion problem. We also have what we call our Unibond or Ultibond. So it's a thin layer of adhesives that we can put between the lining and the shoe, the table itself, and we guarantee that for 5 years. Based on rust jacking. So you could park that thing in a ditch full of salt and we can't even get the lining off. It's that tough. If there's severe situations, but when it comes back to the coatings that we've currently put on all of our shoes, we don't see any problems with rust jacking. We don't have that continual, what's wrong with this type situation. Again, that's Ultibond. We don't really sell a lot of it because we don't have that problem. There's certain customers that they have some severe situations that they automatically put it on there. And I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it's available.
Gotcha. Oh, good to know. I also think the triple double guarantee is interesting. Hopefully that stimulates some conversations for you to have when you're out in the field with our customers. And I guess understanding more about what all that means. So I guess what does it mean? So we double the life if we run that shoe, that drum. I guess walk us through a little more detail about that triple double.
Yeah, so what we did is we engineered it right. And a lot of braking, when it comes to braking, it's all about heat. So you got to get the heat out of there. You've got to have a lining that's going to be able to take on heat. There's two factors there: getting the heat out evenly, and also being able to, withstand a lot more heat for longevity. So the 1088 lining is geared to put a little tiny layer of itself onto the drum itself, and that's any drum. Doesn't have to be in the double life guarantee situation, and it works as a cohesive bond so that it provides brake power. It's also rated at 1,000 degrees. So it can take on temperatures of 1,000 degrees without having any major problems as far as cracking or anything like that. So it's able to take on more temperature. dissipating that heat through the cast core as one piece rather than three-piece steel is a big deal too. So it's evenly going through there, and then the virgin ore drum as well. A lot of times you'll see when you take off a drum that there's white spots going to be not all the way around the drum, but just white spots. This drum will actually have the white spots, or it'll have the heat dissipation marks completely throughout the entire outside of the drum. And that's where the three of them together are able to dissipate that heat, take on a lot more heat. That's how we can offer a double life guarantee, showing that you got, and that's going to be compared to anything that you're using now, or that the end user is using. And the way that we judge that is if you get this many miles from your previous brake job, we're going to double that. If it's something that you're looking at, a yearly type thing, we'll deal with that as well. To be honest with you, we have that product available for the last 4 years and have never given anybody back that guarantee. So I've never had the problem where somebody said, well, I only got, life and a half or whatever, 150%. But it's a true game changer when it comes to the industry. And we do sell quite a bit of them. We sell a lot of that makeup to your garbage fleets. You can imagine they're starting stopping all day long. And the true test was a Harders in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They got quadrupled their life, 4 times the amount that they were getting before. So that's one. We put them on school buses. We put them on over the road. We got major fleets that are using them throughout the United States as well, because they understand the price per mile.
Gotcha. Segues in nice. We actually had a question. Where'd the question go? Well, I guess it went and is answered because it's been answered live, but the question was, what would you recommend for a garbage truck to run for a lining? As you're ahead of the curve, Joe, you answered before they got there. Would that be the lining you'd recommend, or would there be something else you offer up for customers to consider as well?
That lining is perfect for refuge. It really stands up. If there's somebody that really wants to pay a few dollars less, I have no hesitation to go with the 225 lining, which is the Kevlar based. That's also got 3 high heat resins in it, so it takes on about 900 degrees.
And you guys have 2 levels of Kevlar based product, right?
Yeah, we have a full Kevlar. That's a 25,000 pound lining. So that is more of a severe duty, and that would also work on garbage trucks. But I would go the 1088 all day over at a Premier.
All right. So I guess at this point, does anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask? If you do, please feel free to click on the chat down at the bottom and submit any questions you may have. If you happen to think of other questions over time, though, we certainly would welcome and appreciate the opportunity to talk to customers as we roll the product out, and Joe is able to come spend time with us out in the field. And that will be starting here pretty soon, I believe, maybe as soon as next couple weeks, early next month.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those where I kind of flashed up a lot of the information quick, and I apologize for that, but I know we're limited on time. But if you want, I can put my information back up to make sure everybody wrote that down. If they got questions, they can come to me. They can email, text, or call me.
All right. We do have another question that came in, Joe. That question is that we Rihm have sold the SBP 20 Select Brake and the Select Brake 23 linings for years. What would you recommend for the customers who are running those linings from us? What would you recommend that they go with, and why would you think that?
Yeah, so the SBP 23 is equivalent. Well, they kind of call that as an ABEX 685. It could be arguable, whatever. Um, our test on our NB 210 was against the 685 material itself. We put a true test, and I don't have this in writing. It's all you kind of got to have faith in me on this one. That we put it neck to neck with that 685 lining, and we succeeded. So it was marginally better. It lasted marginally better, but it did last, and it held up exactly to the 685. So the SPP 23, the 210 is what I had recommended in the crossover charts. And then the other one was the SB 23.
The SPP 20 and the SPP 23.
So SPP 20. Yep. So that's a premium 20 on the SPP 20. That's an easy turnover. That's our NBP 20 is a premium 20, and it survives against the 6008. If that's what we're comparing to. We put it up against premium 20 on Meritor, the 212, and it works and succeeds against that as well.
Well, all right. Well, that's good to know, because we've got a good number of customers that use that product, and like I say, we're anxious to get rolling with your products, and good to know that we have a good deep coverage. So at this point, we don't have any other questions, and so I guess I'd like to say thank you, Joe, for agreeing to sit down with me this evening and visit with us about brake shoes. And to the customers that came in, called in, I thank you for taking the time. I know the weather outside is less than desirable, but welcome to where we live, I guess. It should be melted by the weekend anyhow, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be too warm yet. But so I would offer up that we will be having our next Let's Talk Shop event November 17th. Vendor is to be determined. We'll get that information out to you hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. But November 17th is our next one, right in Minnesota deer hunting. So hopefully we may have to push that one back a little later, but just thinking about the timelines of things there. So with that, again, I thank you all for joining, and look forward to seeing you on our next one, and hope everybody has a safe trip home tonight. Thank you.